What is he looking for?
I'm not dead.
What was that? In the haunted woods is a haunted house, but this is no fairy tale.
Hello and welcome to Most Haunted. The woods around me are just one of the settings for the dramatic story of this week's location. Witchcraft, murder, robbery and human sacrifice are just a few of the things that are alleged to have happened here. This week, we're on the Essex coast, investigating one of the county's most infamous properties. And by spending 24 hours, we're hoping to uncover the truth behind the legend of Treasure Holt.
There's been a building on this remote site since the 1100s. It's been a haven for smugglers, an inn of disrepute, a hiding place for the King's supporters, and the scene of satanic rituals. There are supposed to be several ghosts here that have been seen on many occasions. Will the Most Haunted team come face to face with any of them?
Now, who's going to be willing to spend 24 hours in one of Britain's most haunted locations? I hunted around, I rung a few people, and of course we came up with the usual crew, the happy crew. There's Mark smiling. They all seem very happy now, don't they? Yeah, you do. When the lights go off, it's a totally different story.
When we moved in, it was a very bad winter. We slept in the back bedroom. The kids was in the front bedroom in sleeping bags. And one night, my wife woke me and she said, quickly, a girl is sleepwalking. So I jumped out of bed and ran into the room, and we'd seen this young girl walk across the room. But when I got in the room, the young girl was gone, but my daughter was still in her sleeping bag. And that's the first time we see anything at all.
Some people make it their business to try and catch evidence of ghosts, and one of those people, of course, is Jason Carr, who's a parapsychologist. Now, what do you think about the story connected with Treasure Holt?
Well, it is, as you said, a story, and it's a very interesting story. It's a fantastical account of alleged happenings here. I think what's important here is that we concentrate on the actual sightings that have happened in the last 10, 20 years, where the current owners have seen themselves. I think those are the important aspects, and perhaps ignore certain aspects of the story itself.
OK, so not to get too carried away with
exactly.
the whole thing. One of the things that was supposed to happen here, of course, was black magic. Do you think that's true or not?
Well, you use the term black magic. Again, the story uses the terms Satanism and devil worship. Basically, it might boil down to witchcraft, which is a pre-Christian religion, the pagan religions, where people worship the earth and they used to dance around fires, as it says in the story. If that kind of worship or devoted thought happened on this land, then that might be a reason that psychics pick up emanations, because that devoted thought can leave supposedly a psychic imprint, and that's what psychics pick up on. So if you believe in that, then that could be why people have had unusual feelings here and feelings of presence.
Now, obviously, it's not just the house. We've already mentioned that, of course, it's the surrounding areas as well.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about tonight? What are you expecting to happen tonight with all of us?
There have been reported sightings both on the track that leads from the main house down to the main road, and also in this area and the lawns that are beyond, of two cavaliers, or a cavalier and a roundhead rather, fighting a duel, and the phantom monk of Simon, as the book says. But the monk ghost, and I was talking to the owner earlier on, he's seen it, but as he said, who's to say it's a monk? It was just a black figure, possibly robed, but he's associated with the monk legend. Now, obviously he's seen something, whether it's a monk or not, we don't know, maybe we'll know tomorrow.
Now, lots of people have seen things here and heard things. Now, is our psychic medium, Derek Akora, going to pick any of those things up? We'll find out when he arrives tonight.
The ghosts that I've seen don't even know you're there, I don't think. They just go about their business. I mean, I front to front with a cavalier on the stairs and he just took no notice. I did say, you know, what the whatever, and but he just vanished. He just faded slowly, but they take no notice. I was sitting downstairs with the wife late on Boxing Night. We was both reading. She had the cat on the arm of the chair. And there was a whooshing sound down the side of the house. We took no notice, thought mini tornado, went out, had a look, there was nothing. It was very still. We went back in and there was another whooshing sound a short while later, and the kids come running down from upstairs and they said, we heard shots. So, well, no, it wasn't shots, it was just a whooshing sound. And when we looked at the cat on the arm, it was standing up, growling like a dog with all its hair on end. And then the kids said, quick, look at the window. And when we looked at the window, Uncle Percy was standing there. He vanished up the stairs in the doorway that he put in, because he used to use that doorway when he come back from the pub and didn't disturb nobody. So, it was all covered over up the stairs. We've pulled it all down since, and there is a frame of a doorway that's all been blocked in. We was having friends over one Sunday, and we got up to make some sandwiches and left our friend in the front room. Suddenly he called out and he said, quick, come in here. And we run in to see what had happened, and he said there's a big grey bloke just walked across there and vanished up the stairs. You know, and we just said, oh, we'll have another drink and, you know, we'll have a look at it later. Anyway, I told the local historian who put it in the local paper, and a couple of nights afterwards we got a phone call from a woman who lived over in Constable country, and she said that was my Uncle Percy, you see. And I said, really? She said, yeah, a big tall fella, she said, grey suit, red beard. Well, we hadn't put red beard in the paper, so it was obviously her Uncle Percy, because he did have a red beard, but we never mentioned it. Normally about Christmas he comes, but I don't know. You know, there is no time, you can't say it happens here, it happens there. It just happens. So whether it happens tonight or not, I don't know.
Lots of things have happened in this particular room. For instance, in 1910, some human bones were found right here under these floorboards. Now, the ghost of Uncle Percy has been seen on many occasions, and he actually appears at this window. Then he walks through this room and goes up these stairs. Now, the strange thing is, we've done a little bit of research and we found out that there was a gentleman called Percy Haywood, and he lived here in 1917. If you look at these two windows here, you'll see that they're a lot lower than the first window. And my thinking is that maybe that first window was a door. Now, of course, every house has its own cavalier. And Charlie has got his. And apparently, he lives at the top of the stairs. If you hear a scream, will you come running? This is certainly a very higgledy-piggledy house. Now then, in this room, a lady wearing a crinoline dress has been seen many, many times walking through here. Now, very recently, somebody actually took a photograph of the outside of the house. When they had the photograph developed, they actually saw the outline of a person staring out of this very window. Jason, tell me the ghost story connected with Treasure Holt.
Well, there are lots of different ghosts connected here, but probably the main ones are the story of the landlord and the landlady who used to run the inn here when the building was an inn. And they used to entice wealthy travellers to spend the night there by plying them with drink and food and putting them in a bedroom and murdering them for their wares. And they disposed of the bodies by chucking them down a trapdoor and into a well beneath. Now, that's probably just a fantastical story, but there may be a seed of truth in it, because there have been some bones unearthed within the house and within the grounds.
That's horrible.
It's not a nice story, it's a grim one. But where we're actually walking down now, this driveway, there's a story connected with a monk. Now, the monk is supposed to have come to Treasure Holt when it was an inn to try and stop the innkeepers from doing their evil deeds, if you like, and he somehow got involved with them and sort of fell from grace. And his ghost is supposed to haunt this driveway we've been walking, where he actually died himself. Now, interestingly, this is a legend, it's a story in the book, but it was seen 3 weeks ago by Charlie, and he saw a black figure, which he perceives as this monk, coming out just near the building, across the driveway and passing off and vanishing into the fields. And he didn't believe in it until he actually saw it. But I was talking to him earlier on, and he's quite convinced that he saw something. Now, whether it was the monk or whether it was a black robe figure is unknown, but he did see it, so we may be meeting him later.
This is all very frightening, actually, and then you've got the connections with witchcraft and sacrificial, I don't know.
You've got those tales again. There may have been witchcraft practiced here. I mean, we're in the middle of the countryside. In times past, the religion that people followed was paganism, or they were called heathens, and that basically means people of the heath, people in the countryside. It's all right, it's a bird.
See, you're freaking freaking me out already.
And, well, you know, that kind of story to do with sacrifice is a pretty horrific story.